What Happened to Monday is the latest Netflix original movie to come out. I think it got lost in the tide of things with coming out the same day as The Defenders, but watched it tonight with my wife and have to say it's one of the most compelling films I've watched for a long time. It's just about 2 hours long, and throughout the whole film you're not bored, you're always guessing, you're always interested, and it's a really good watch. It stars Noomi Rapace as, I'm not sure what, I can't think what the word is now, but she plays 7 siblings, and also stars William Dafoe and Glenn Close. The plot is that in the future food is scarce, they create genetically modified crops, and these result in people having multiple births, so lots of quintuplets, etc. Glenn Close is part of a political party that has multiple children outlawed, and if you have multiple children, anything over 1 in number has to be frozen and woken up at a time when food has been made more plentiful and the issues around that have been solved. So what happens is William Dafoe is their grandfather, and you see in flashbacks him raising them to only come out on 1 day a week each. So they're all named Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So they only ever get 1 day of the week to live to themselves, and then they have to update their family. And a bit like with the Prestige, if one of them gets injured, they have to mimic that injury. So there's a scene near the start where one little girl has her finger dismembered, and so he has to go along and chop off everyone else's finger. The plot is that Monday goes missing one day. She doesn't come back as planned, and the sisters have to work out where she is and try and find her. By doing this, they expose themselves to the outside world, and the agency that's in charge of monitoring siblings, as they call them, comes after them with lots of lethal force, because ultimately they've managed to get it to age 30 and not be discovered, and if they become public then it undermines the entire system. All of the sisters have totally different personalities, and they're all played really well by Noomi Rapace. You forget very quickly that it's the same actress playing them all, and that it's a special effect, you know, clumps style, when they're sitting around a dinner table all in the same room. It's seamless as far as I could tell with the special effects. And it's probably because it's done subtly. There's not lots of sort of trick shots and things like that. It's just played out very normally, and it's all the better for it. The futuristic technology is really good. It's not over the top, but it's probably well thought out as to how it could be. They've got sort of little screens on their hand that they can do things with their phone on and look at photos on and sort files with, and it's of the nature where it's believable that it could be there in the next 20 to 30 years. There's lots of action elements in the film. It's very surprising, it's well plotted. As I said at the start, it's very tightly written and compelling all the way through, and it's got an ending that you can't necessarily guess, and it does flip-flop a little bit with the ending, which is good. But it does have a conclusive ending, so it's not one of these things that's open-ended and you think, oh, that's a waste of my bloody time. All the characters are good, all the different personalities of the girls are good. You know, you'll have your favourite one. I had my favourite one, my wife had her favourite one. And there's a little tiny twist towards the end when you find out the motivations of one character that soften the character a little and make you a bit more sympathetic. The one thing I've got to mention is that Glenn Close, I don't know if it's natural, then I'm sorry and I should take this back, but it looks like she's had some kind of surgery done to her face, and it's not prosthetics, it's a natural face after surgery, and it looks weird. If anyone knows what bow selector is, her face is turning into a bow selector mask. It just looks strange, and whenever she's on screen and you look at her face, it looks weird and it takes you out of the film, because it's the only thing you want to comment about. It's the only thing we wanted to comment about when we were watching it. That aside, William Dafoe's really good. He's only in it a little bit, so is Glenn Close, and all the other actors and actresses are as well. Though it flows well, everything's well acted, and I think it's the kind of film that if it was on at the cinema, it may not have got the audience that it deserves, but because it's on streaming and it's something that's just there to watch, it's the kind of thing people might put on on a quiet Sunday evening like this and watch and really enjoy. And I hope a lot of people see it, and I hope they make more films like this because they deserve to be watched. So What Happened to Monday, really good, really worth watching.